It's just to show you the other side of Cartagena. Unbelievable. This is all trash. And I can barely talk because the smell is absolutely gross. Alright, let's go check it out. On the wrong side of the road.
Ciénaga de las Quintas se llama.
Ese es el mercado, ¿verdad?
Sí, todo este. Y para allá sale, hay otra avenida.
Tengo piña, tengo fresa. Is it safe to travel to Cartagena? Fair or not, Colombia obviously has a bad reputation when it comes to traveling the country. And today I'll answer the question, is it safe to travel to Cartagena or is it dangerous? If you're new to this channel, I'm a Dutch expat. I've been living in Costa Rica for the last 17 years and for the last 3 years on and off in Colombia. Cartagena is actually by far my favorite city in all of the Americas. I'm here all the time, living life, and today I do want to point out that Cartagena obviously has sides that is not that fabulous, so to speak. So let's get straight into it, okay? First I'll discuss the areas you can visit, then in the end I will tell you which areas you should definitely avoid, and I will give you some of my personal experiences as well. So, when visiting Cartagena, the safest place is definitely the historic town. That's where I am right now. Our Airbnb is located in the historic town of Cartagena. So, this is a walled city. There's a lot of police here, and that's not because there's crime. It's because they want to make it a safe haven for tourists. That doesn't mean there's no crime whatsoever, but the crime you'll see here is petty, you know, like pickpocketing, stuff like that. I'll go into the common, you know, scams, tourist scams that happen in Cartagena in a bit. But let's move on to the areas that is safe to travel here in Cartagena. So one is the historic town or the walled city. Then moving on to Boca Grande. Boca Grande is very close to the historic town. It is actually a sort of Miami vibe type of area where you have modern skyscrapers, beautiful beach. Here you'll find a lot of condos and apartments. So it's a very different feel from a historic town. I do want to point out my very first time to Cartagena, I actually stayed in Boca Grande. And women, solo travelers, beware. It's a little bit, it can be a little bit iffy because what I've noticed when I was staying at Boca Grande, if I was walking out on the street or if I was taking a taxi, I found some serious harassment from guys. And I have been all over the world, and you know, like the whole innocent stuff, it happens. You usually like ignore it, gracias, and you know, go by your day. But the problem here is they're exceptionally, like they really harass you. Like they won't give up, and the things they say, I don't like it. It's like one thing saying like, oh, hola guapa, to like, oh, your husband should never leave somebody like looking like you all alone. You know, that's creepy. And like at one point I was walking down by the beach, and you know, like some guys came to, you know, tell me they wanted to marry me, and actually like grabbed my arm when I didn't respond. So I looked it up back then because I was really appalled. I googled it up back then, and it actually showed that it's common for women that travel alone that they get a little bit of harassment from the guys. So be aware of that. I have been back since then a million times, but never alone, and it doesn't happen there. So very good to know, right? Then moving on to the next area that is safe to travel for tourists is Hezemani. I love this area. It is a hipster, artsy, super unique place. I absolutely love it. I would suggest going here by daytime. The locals say at night it can get a little sketchy. Same goes for San Diego. Really cool place, lots of hipsters and students. A nice area to walk through, but at night be extra careful. Basically, the further you get away from Old Town, the sketchier the neighborhoods become, and this is where, you know, you want to be extra careful, but there's definitely areas you absolutely want to avoid. And I actually made a cheat sheet, so let me check real quick. Sector La Magdalena is one to avoid. The next one is La Maria, El Paraíso, and the last one is Olaya and El Pozo. Do not go to these areas. You're not missing out on anything. Safety first, of course. Now, of course, Cartagena, like any city in the world, has to deal with crime. So let me go over what could potentially happen in any of the areas, even here in a historic town that feels like you live in a bubble. It's really safe, but pickpocketing is always a problem, especially when there's like street artists performing and a big group gathers. You have to be careful with your belongings. Keep them inside, keep them close to you, all right? Another common scam that happens in many different places over the world is the taxi drivers, right? They scam you with either meters that drive up the prices. A lot of them don't have meters, and so be sure to agree on a price ahead of time. Like we actually had this happen yesterday. So we went to Castillo San Felipe, and we paid 10,000 to get there. And so on our way back, we get in a taxi, you know, like we don't discuss the price or whatever, and we go back to the historic town, and he charges us 20,000. So like obviously we said like, no, I'm sorry, we just got dropped off here for 10, so that's what we'll give you, and he was fine with it. So that happens, it's very common, but luckily it's nothing dangerous, right? Another thing that you want to keep your eye out on is your drink. If at night you go to a bar, be sure to always hold your drink so nobody can slip anything into it. And then, this is what I've heard, this is not from personal experience at all, but apparently there's fake police cops that will ask to check your money for counterfeit bills. I'm honestly not really sure. I've never experienced this, but be sure if a cop asks you about your money, just either ask to, I don't know, show their badge or politely walk away and just pretend you don't understand, right? Like, oh, I don't speak Spanish, sorry, bye, I have to go. But I don't know really how often this happens. It's just that locals here told us that, and so I'm not sure. So, conclusion, yes, Cartagena is absolutely safe to travel. If you want to be in the safest place possible, the historic town, the walled city, and it's also the most beautiful place. I mean, I say this, I think, in every video. Like, I personally really don't like Boca Grande. It's just, I had a horrible experience the first time, and I don't see the appeal of these big skyscrapers with all these modern small apartments, you know. Sure, you'll have a nice ocean view, but I mean, look at this, you know. I love it here. It's so beautiful. Yeah, so it's safe. I compare it often to Costa Rica because that's where I live. I live in San Jose for most of the time, and I feel much safer here. Let me put it that way. And Costa Rica gets a lot of tourists. So, you know, there you have it. Just always use your common sense and you'll be absolutely fine. Hey, you guys. If you got any value from this, can you help me out? Can you give me a like or a comment so that the YouTube algorithm actually shows this video to more people? I get more views. That would be very much appreciated. Do check out my channel. If you subscribe, you actually receive a notification every time I upload a new video. You just need to click that little bell icon. Check out my video. I have close to 200 different videos on topics like Costa Rica travel, Colombia travel, Costa Rica living, Colombia living, you name it, traveling and working online, how to do that, how to lead the laptop lifestyle. Just be sure to check it out. I want to thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next video. Ciao! See ya!